I think it's very imperative that I actually say something in reference to this next election. And I'm going to do my best to continue to try to make as many videos as I possibly can and recordings and content as much as I possibly can until this next election at a minimum, because I am so worried about this next election because, as I said previously, it is the most important election in modern history. And anybody who tells you anything to the contrary is being completely disingenuous. They don't care about you. They don't care about the betterment of your family, your friends. They don't care about you. You know, the Republican convention is starting tomorrow, and it is going to be an absolute shit show. I saw the lineup of the Republican convention, and it's humiliating. We are the laughingstock. We are the laughingstock. And me, personally, somebody who has so much pride, I do not like to be made a joke of. I just don't like it. I don't like to be embarrassed. I take great pride in doing things to avoid actually being embarrassed. And I'm mad that I'm being put into a situation in which I have no control over how embarrassing this whole thing is. But if you look at this Republican convention, you're going to have to look at it from the context of the fact that these are terrible human beings, horrific human beings. It's not just about defeating Trump in this next election. Defeating Trump is definitely of paramount importance. And I don't want anybody to think that I'm trying to say that Trump is not the most important thing that we need to remove the next election. No, he is. But Trump is a symptom of a much greater problem. Historically, Republicans are horrific human beings. The politicians. What they have done, especially even to their own base, to the poor, white working class, to a lot of those people that they've told so many times that the reason why your plight is the way that it is, the reason why you're suffering is because of those other people. Those other people. And that's what you're going to hear at the Republican convention. You did not hear that at the Democratic convention. You won't hear that at the Democratic convention because the contrast could not be any more stark. They're telling their base, the poor white working class specifically, that the reason why you have these, you're losing your jobs and you're losing your freedoms and, you know, you're losing your homes and your cars and your livelihood is because of those other people, the blacks, the browns, those immigrants. They're the reason why. But the truth is, those factories going overseas, no immigrant is the cause of that. The jobs that they keep taking from you when they're going overseas, no immigrant is the cause of that. The opioid crisis in your communities, no black or brown person is responsible for that. They're not the ones creating those pills and those drugs. No, they're not. And then opioid crisis in those communities, we're the Republicans. They've done nothing about it. They don't care about the lives of these actual people that go out and vote for them. All they care about is the vote. Republicans, the way that they are able to win elections is by creating division amongst American people. By making sure you're always fighting with the left. Everything, they're angry all the time. Everything the left does, they get angry. They're not telling you about this brighter future or these hopes and these visions for a greater future for you and your family and your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, and future generations. They're not telling you about that because that's not what they care about. They care about winning and making money and sustaining that power, but they don't care about you, specifically you. They don't want to see you better your life. Let me just tell you this story about, there was a story that came out one time when they were saying there were people in some of these rural communities and they would ask them, you know, how do you feel about Obamacare? And they're like, Obamacare? I don't like Obamacare. Obama's a tyrant. He's a liar. He's a fraud. He's a felon. He's from Kenya. You know, he's a Muslim. You know, I think Obamacare is a terrible thing for this country. It should never been passed. And I don't like it. Then they would ask him about Affordable Care Act. Oh, I like Affordable Care Act. Yeah, I'll sign up for that. Yeah, that's a great program. I think I could use it. I think it's a great thing. And I'm glad that they did it. They had no idea that the Affordable Care Act and Obamacare were the same thing. Because that is, I'm telling you, that is exactly what the Republicans want. They want you to be mad and hate Obama. They want you to hate Joe Biden. They want you to hate Nancy Pelosi. They want you to hate every single Democrat. They even want you to hate Democrats that live next door to you. Because everything is about fighting your own American brothers and sisters. That's what they want you to do. They hate each other. They make you think black people are the problem. Oh, those people in those ghettos, man. They want you to think brown people are the problem. Oh, these Latinos keep jumping the border. But the truth is, and if we're going to be honest and we're going to be, you know, fair about it, the truth is that Republicans, what they seek is power. That's it. They don't care about you, your kids, nobody. They don't care about it. And you're going to hear a lot of that when you listen to the Republican convention. You're not going to hear anything that is inspiring. These are people that tell you that they're pro-life. How in the world are Republicans pro-life? Republicans don't care about your life. The minute that person delivers that baby, the Republicans don't care about you. And as a matter of fact, they're more willing to see you just crumble. They don't put programs or mechanisms in place after you give birth to the baby, like adoption agencies, just in case the mother's too young to take care of, or poor, or has a mental illness, or was raped. They don't put any of those programs in place. Just deliver the baby. That's all they care about. Just deliver it. That's all they care about. They don't care about life. If they care about life, why aren't they wearing masks? Why are they fighting against wearing masks? When they know masks are a preventative measure to ensure that the virus is not spreading to every single person. Why are they worried about wearing masks? Why are they fighting and saying their freedoms are being taken away? Because they're required to help protect somebody else's life. The truth is, Republicans do not care about human beings. They don't care about humanity. There are terrible people, and Trump is a symptom of a much greater problem. There's been so much revisionism since Trump became president. People forgot about how bad George W. Bush was. George W. Bush invaded a country that had nothing to do with 9/11, killed over 1 million Iraqi people, destroyed historical lands, destroyed an entire country, killed thousands of American soldiers, maimed thousands of American soldiers, some coming back with no eyes, no legs, no arms. They're struggling to this day. There's PTSD. Thousands and thousands of American soldiers' lives destroyed. And during his presidency, you could not criticize him. If you criticized him, you would lose your job. The American media covered for him the entire time and kept on feeding us lies. Every single day, you're getting a threat alert. What happened to those threat alerts? Oh, today's an orange threat alert. Better watch your back. You might get a bomb in your car. Every day, you're scared. You're scared. You're scared. The way to psychologically control the American public. People forget that. They forget that because Trump is such a buffoon and such a monster, people forget how bad George W. Bush was. The Republicans, what they do is they destroy the country. A Democrat comes and cleans it up. Then another Republican comes, destroys the country, and then a Democrat comes and cleans it up. Now it's time to make sure Republicans cannot destroy this country anymore. And that's why we don't just defeat Trump. We defeat Trumpism, Republicanism, conservatism, all of that. We need to defeat it. Another thing, too, I want to say to you guys, there are a lot of these never Trumper Republicans, which I respect some of them very much, because I think that they showed principle, and they showed, principle over party. And I think that's very important. But some of you guys are looking at them like they're gods at this point. You've forgotten that there have been people all their lives have been fighting for the things that you believe in, while these Republicans were supporting people like George W. Bush. Don't forget that. These people had no problem with people like George W. Bush. They had no problem with the first Bush. They had no problem with these people. They had no problem invading Iraq. They had no problem destroying the Iraqi people. They had no problem destroying American soldiers for the purposes of gaining oil in Iraq. They did not care about Americans. And you guys are supporting them because they don't like Trump. And I understand that, and I get that, because some of them, I respect what they're doing right now by fighting Trump. But they supported that party, and they're still Republicans to the core of them. So before you go and just start hailing them and worshiping them, you need to make sure that you understand exactly who these people are and who they will be after Trump is out of office. It's not enough to just hate Trump. They need to be able to want to dismantle that entire party. They liked Mitch McConnell before Trump. They liked Lindsey-Graham before Trump. They liked all these people before Susan Collins, all those people. They liked them before Trump. Some of them helped make sure that Kavanaugh was the Supreme Court justice. So while you're sitting there hailing them, there have been Democrats that have been putting their lives on the line for people for decades, and you're not supporting them. They're not big names. They're not getting all this attention. Why is that? Because these Republicans finally decided that they were going to stand up against a tyrant that was blatantly a tyrant, that was so overtly a tyrant. The world also hated too. It was financially beneficial to do so. And I don't doubt that they dislike Trump, but there are people who have been fighting for this kind of stuff that you care about a long time, and they get ignored. And don't get it twisted. When Trump is gone, these people are going to go back to being Republicans. Some of them are never going back, which is a beautiful thing to see. But some of them are going to go back to being Republicans. So just think about that. There's too much revisionism. The Republican Party is a problem. They have convinced poor people that their problem is not the Republicans. The Republicans are not giving you a bright future speech. None of that's going to happen. It's going to tell you about the radical left. Trump's going to be in there. The radical left is going to take everything from you. You're going to lose everything. I'm telling you, you're not going to have anything. You won't even be able to breathe. They're going to take your breath. They have a program right now that's going to take your breath. He's going to say anything that he could possibly say to ensure that he creates some kind of fear in people's minds. He wants to speak every single night at the Republican convention during prime time. Who the fuck wants to hear Trump speak every single night? Who really even wants to hear him speak? The guy can barely complete an entire sentence. But he wants to speak. He's so narcissistic and such a sicko. He's constantly feeding the American public propaganda. And people are going to watch. People are literally going to watch that. Millions of people will watch that. And then they'll be lied to the entire time. If you could name a policy that Republicans have ever come up with that have helped even their own base, I'm more than willing to listen to it. But they will never even do anything that will help their own base. All they care about are enriching the top 1% and their donors. That's it. They don't care about the American public. They don't care about their base. And their base is far worse off than they will accept. They don't even affiliate with people that are in their base. They would never affiliate with some of those people that are in their base. They've left those communities to suffer through the opioid crisis where they're overdosing repeatedly while they're benefiting from those pharmaceutical companies that are making those drugs that are killing people in the communities that vote for them. They've convinced those communities that you will be so much better off if the others go away while they support those others, quote unquote others, behind their back. You think Republicans really want to get rid of immigration when a lot of those big businesses rely on immigrant labor? Are you kidding yourself? They don't want to get rid of immigration. They just want to tell you they want to get rid of immigration. They make Republican base believe that they should care more about things like whether they say God in school than whether you can put food on your table. They make you worry about whether a transgender person is going to use a specific bathroom instead of you worrying about your own health care. They're pro-life, but they don't want you to have health care. Where's the what about Republicans is even pro-life whatsoever? All they have done was manipulate and lie and deceive and abuse their own base. And they've brought and fused that their psychotic and dishonest mentality into the rest of us. And it's time to defeat all of that. It's not enough to just defeat Trump. That is not enough. Now, don't get me wrong. After this election, when Trump is defeated, I am going to be celebrating irrespective of whether all the Republicans are gone too. But we do definitely need to defeat Republicans. They have to go. I mean, there are a few of them. I believe in diversity of thought, and I definitely believe that we should have, other people. We should not only have one group controlling the country. That to me is too synonymous with authoritarianism. But I definitely don't think we should have people who are dangerous be in government. We have far too many people who are dangerous. We have Gohmert. Who the hell is that? Jim Jordan? Mitch-McConnell? What kind of people are these? What is this? These are people who have no soul whatsoever, literally heartless human beings who have no compassion whatsoever. They're not good people. They're liars. They're charlatans. Lindsey-Graham, there's never been a more disturbed human being than Lindsey-Graham. He has no idea who he is. The Marco Rubios, the Ted Cruz. What is this? What kind of people are these? And we are the laughingstock, and we need to reclaim our own respect. We need to have some self-respect and some dignity being restored to ourselves. So it's time for those people to go. And I don't care what anybody tells you. If you watch this Republican National Convention, just understand that what you're watching is an absolute shit show. It is not representative of good, decent, honest people. It has no vision for the future. It is only supposed to inflame you and make you angry and make you hate people that you had no business hating. And it's not going to progress this country in any possible way. So before you watch that convention, make sure you understand that. Because if you're watching it, you should be watching it for the comedic value, right? It's going to be a shit show. It's going to be funny because it's such a joke. But don't watch it and think, I can kind of see how this might be a good vision for the United States. You are not going to see a vision for the future. That's not what you're going to hear. You're going to hear about how bad the radical left is and how anarchy and the protesters, you're going to hear some of the most dangerous and dark rhetoric you have ever heard. Remember that. And then go back and watch the Democratic National Convention, and then you'll see an actual policy agenda and a brighter future for yourself and your family. Something that will not make you constantly angry and pissed off at the world and pissed off at your fellow Americans. So I want to make sure that I say that before people watch this convention, and some people can be persuaded by things that are not to your own benefit. Watch it carefully, analyze it carefully, and you'll recognize it is nothing more than a shit show. And all of these people, they need to be voted out.